Hi there, I'm Kimile. Welcome back. And this is Heal with Kimile podcast. I want to share another story with you about a lady who has been coming to do therapy with me and her husband, and just kind of what's been going on and how far we've gotten. I do think this relationship has been toxic for about 12, 13 years. They've been together. And we're going to call her Pam. We're going to call him Jim. So Pam comes in. And I meet her first. I think I meet her first because they've gone through a handful of counselors and they want to make sure they're with the right counselor this time because there just hasn't been a lot of movement. And, she's looking for someone who can really kind of be authentic and there's more rigor and it's not just listening and, asking a few questions. She wants someone who can kind of really coach. And that's kind of what I do. I'm more rigorous and I'll jump in with people and I'll give feedback and I'll call a spade a spade. So Pam's been dealing with a guy who, he's got some major trauma with a mom growing up. And that's unresolved. Like he hasn't resolved that yet. Great with men. Like Jim is really wonderful with men. Men love him. He's got a lot of buddies, very successful. He is a high performer, high achiever. And thank God he is. He's been a great provider, loves his kids, good dad. But the dynamic happening between them is this. Because he has a difficult relationship with his mom and his mother basically, I think she just didn't want him. From the sound of it, there's a lot of rejection. He was the product of an out of marriage relationship that they got married, but I think that was really cutting it close. And if you're in a religious town like I am, that matters. And so I think he's a product of maybe a broken promise. And, they went to the temple and all, but I don't know if it was all true, if she was a virgin. So I think he was a product of that. And he's not the kind of guy you can fully control. He probably never was. But there's a lot of resistance, a lot of strength in him. And Mama shut him down. He was isolated a lot, put in his room for days on end. They got him food, but he's like in isolation confinement. It's definitely, abusive. So he just doesn't trust women. Just does not trust women at all, or women's emotions especially. Well, if you're married to a woman and you're a man, women are emotional. Like that's just our second nature. We can't help it, especially the week out of the month. And then he's got 2 daughters and a son. So emotion is going to be rampant in the family. And then he marries this beautiful lady, Pam. She's successful. She's a stay-at-home mom. That house is spotless. She's a good cook. She takes care of herself. She lifts weights. She's amazing. But anything she has going on, she takes it to him. Any concern, and he can't handle her feelings. I do everything for you. When she's like, honey, I'm going through something. I'm having a heart. Wait a minute. What do you bring that to me for? I make all this money. We travel all the time. What are you doing to me? Like literally, he cannot handle if she's not happy. Now, it's because, again, we figured out for him in the therapy, anything he's doing that his mother has a reaction to, it's his fault. He's to blame. It's his fault. And obviously, mom's saying in a way, you made me mad. You made me do this. If you didn't do that, I wouldn't be punishing you. You're not locked in your room for no reason. You did something wrong. So he's translating his woman's emotion personally. He's not seeing his role as a husband and a protector and a provider, that he's got to give her comfort and some reassurance or something. He's taking offense, and then he gets super defensive, just deflects it back on her. Why do you want to ruin my day? Why do you want to bring this to me tonight? I'm tired. Don't you know I'm tired? I've worked all day. I've made all this money. How come you're never happy? You're just never happy. Well, no one's happy 24/7. That's not possible. That's not realistic. But truly for 12, 13 years, this is how their relationship has gone. So I get them. They're kind of at the stage of, do we stay? Do we go? Do we get divorced or not? And when I meet him, he's kind of still stonewalling her and no emotion in therapy. He's just not divulging. There's no expression. He's just kind of, robotic and just poker face, And she's over there having difficulty in emotion. And he's just like, I don't know. Just kind of acting like, and I look at him and I jumped him one day. I said, do you care about her? Do you look at her? This woman's telling you she's going to divorce you. Are you okay with that? You want a divorce? Well, I've been unhappy for 10 years. Okay, well then what do we do? Wake up to me for? Why are you here? If you want out, just say so. Well, I don't really want out, but it was just this moment where I'm looking at him. He couldn't have any empathy for her at all. And genuinely, she is so desperate to make this marriage work. She loves her kids. She loves her family. She's trying so hard to keep this going. But I looked at him, I said, do you feel anything? What do you feel? Annoyance. He's annoyed with her because who is she reminding him of? Who is she to you? How are you experiencing her? What's your perception of her? That's not your wife to you, is it? Because your wife, who you love, you say you love her, what if it's your little girl and she's, crying? Is this the same reaction? Well, no, I'm better with that, and maybe he is, maybe he's not, but he really can't handle emotion at all. So I got him to see that that's his mother and his subconscious and he's like seeing mom there. And because mom has rejected him, abandoned, and didn't love him, it's almost like, good, you're hurt, you're upset, good for you, good. Like he doesn't care. And that's when I said, stop the action. Why are you guys here? Because I'm supposed to help put this back together, but you don't care. So I need the truth. Like, what's the truth? What do you want? And he said, well, maybe, am I wrong? I said, you're wrong. You're definitely wrong for not having any empathy. Absolutely. Like, that's not something that is healthy in a relationship for you to act like this. And there's a book that I really love. It's called Man's Guide to Women by a PhD, Dr. I think Gottsfeld, really good author. He does love labs, really smart guy. I had him read just the first, few pages of the first chapter, talking about attunement and listening and not defending. He listens to defend, he listens to attack, and just he read that, and something kind of sparked, and he got it. He got that he's not listening at all. In fact, everything she brings to him, he's just shoving back at her and making her wrong for having any sort of feelings at all. So when he started seeing that, there's been a little bit of a crack open. And I did call him on his crap. But I said, you've got to look at this. You're hurting your wife. You're hurting her by not listening. And there was an incident with one of the daughters. And the daughter said, I don't think daddy's listening to me. He doesn't hear me. I hurt my ankle. I can't walk. I'm hurt. It's swelling up. And he did take her to an urgent care. But there was just this lack of empathy there. So between a couple of moments, I got him to realize, oh, I didn't realize that's a problem. But if you've been damaged and you are in a way narcissistic, you're kind of stunted in your ability to heal other people's pain or experience. You don't have that ability to have empathy. And I think he genuinely did not even recognize that was him. So now he's seeing this. Okay, now he's seeing it. He's been kind of cracked open. He's been crying a lot. He's been realizing, oh my gosh, no wonder she doesn't tell me. No wonder she doesn't trust me. No wonder she's mad all the time. Right, because she has no one to talk to. And who should she talk to? He's mad she's talking to her parents or her friends. Well, she can't talk to you. So what? So now he's starting to get it. And I do think genuinely he has remorse and he's starting to feel bad. And I'm hoping that these people can work it out. But what's happened to her is finally it's out. I'm not crazy. Oh my gosh, he admitted it. Yeah, he's admitting that he's been really, really disconnected emotionally from you. And you're on your own. And so he's finally, giving her love and trying to apologize. And he wants to, let me help with the food. Let me help with cleaning. Let me help with the kids. She does it all. She's been doing all for a long time because he works a lot. And I think he avoids, actually. I think he stays out of the house a lot. But she just almost is, not knowing what to do. And her nervous system, is kind of like, I don't know if I can trust him. And it's weird that he's being nice or telling me he loves me or like he's kind of been different. Jim's been showing up a lot different. So she doesn't quite know if she can fully trust him yet. And I said, don't fake that. Now the truth is out. Other people have seen this and they've validated for her what they noticed now that she's looking to divorce him and things. People are going, yeah, we've kind of wondered because he did this and this. So she's getting other people to even say, yeah, this has definitely been a problem for years. And Pam's just been in denial about it's all her. She's the problem. If I can just control my emotions, I'm just such a stupid woman. And, God, maybe he's right. Maybe I do need some antidepressants. Maybe I do need drugs because I'm too expressive. I'm too emotional. And he's been telling her that for years. So it's interesting how the tables have turned. And now she's hearing, wait a minute, you're normal. Like that's actually healthy. That's kind of what you do need from your husband. You should be able to have an emotional connection with him. And other people looking at him saying, dude, like you need to have more empathy. What's going on with you? So there's an interesting flip happening. And it's kind of like a dynamic where, okay, the denial's busted. He's in denial anymore. He sees that he's got a listening problem and that he's harmed her by not being able to hear her for years or refusing to hear her. Thinking you're like my mom, all you're doing is water working. He says water work, right? Water works just to get a reaction out of me. So, and then he just stonewalls from that point on because you're just baiting me. You're going to bait me into a fight. And then you're going to punish me somehow. No, dude, she's just trying to be your wife. She's just had a bad day or she's, needs reassurance or whatever. I'm surprised she's still there, by the way. So he's finally realizing that that's hurt her. And there's, been some time that they've had a few days where he was vulnerable, tearful, apologetic, and she's been really happy that he's been loving her. She feels loved by him. But there's this distrust. There's this distrust that's been going on. And before she stayed because she thought she was the problem, she blamed herself for everything, and he was, perfect. Because he's telling her that this is you. This is just you. You got problems, lady. You're way too emotional. Stuff like that. So now it's like, nope, maybe it's him that's got the problem. Maybe you've been right all along. Now, when that dawns on people, when people go, I think I've been a fool. I have been a dummy for this guy. I've been so stupid. I have believed it. I thought it was me. It's been him the whole time. When that hits you and you realize, oh my gosh, I have totally been emotionally abused. This is emotional abuse. It is. When you have that recognition, you better slow down and you better stop the relationship to a point. Because if you just keep on going with it and keep stepping over your feelings, you're not going to do well. So finally, she's pulled back and she went, I need some time to sort this out. Because it just kind of hits her in waves of, God, when I just had the baby and I was having postpartum depression and he was so angry at me. And when she had legitimate things going on and he just wasn't there. Like all these memories of when he did that, that thing to her, that invalidation, her emotional invalidation, lack of empathy moment. And she was just like on her own. She's really remembering all the times that he just really didn't support her. But yet Kimile, he's woke up and he's so sorry and apologetic and loving on her and so sweet now. And yeah, that's great. And I'm hoping we haven't, it's not too late. I'm hoping that we can save this relationship, but time's going to tell. But what is starting to happen a little bit, they got this happened a month ago and then they've gone on vacation and they come back. And look, the typical narcissist just wants things to get back to normal. It's like, can you quit bringing that up? I said I'm sorry. It's over and done with. What can I do about it now? That's kind of the reaction. And I've said, look, you may have to apologize a million times and genuinely, because until she's kind of been able to process through this, she's going to still need you to appreciate what happened to her. And her finally getting you to see and hear that she's not trying to hurt you by sharing her feelings with you. She's just trying to share her feelings with you for you to understand her. Now that she's got a little bit of that, she's going to want more of that. So you must continue to be able to listen. And if you slip back, and he's even afraid of that, he said, if I don't do it perfectly, she's going to leave me. I said, maybe. But if you don't try, she's going to leave you. So what are you going to do? Pick your hard. They're both hard, bud. And for her, she does not trust him with her heart. She's been conditioned to not go to him at all with any feelings. She's been walking on eggshells for years. And then she wants to make sure Jim's okay. Like he's not upset and she's making life easier for him. Because he'll just be on the phone and then she'll just hear him screaming from the basement, you MFR, just having a meltdown. What's the matter? What's the matter? She runs down there and he's just, having a reaction. But everyone around is going to pay. Everyone around is going to go, going to hear that because he's having a problem. So she'll patch it up, make it better and make him some food or whatever she's going to do. But again, it's always adjusting to his temperature and making sure he's not too hot or too cold. She just enable him. Just keeps making sure he's okay. Well, what does that do to you constantly? Again, you deplete your reserves. You deplete yourself. And she's got all these kids too, and she's got to make sure her kids are okay. So she's going to need a little time to kind of resolve this and heal. And she's starting to get a little angry. Normal, because she's been withholding her anger. She couldn't be angry. She had to be pleasing and adapting and holding herself in. And what's beneath the anger? Pain. All that pain, all that sadness, all that unexpressed frustration and tears and sadness and rejection and just feeling so inadequate. And what's wrong with me? All that doubt. Like she's hurting. She's really hurting. So we will see what happens with this couple. I'm seeing both of them a little separately and then together, but it might require a time of separation, but it's going to require a sacrifice on his part. And the reason is because she's gone through years of him not being able to hear her. And the sacrifice is going to be that he starts hearing her routinely and that there's, quote, sessions, meaning, he can listen, he can validate, and he can appreciate, and he doesn't retaliate. He's not like, well, what about me? Because he's got a tendency to say, me too, though. Me too. You hurt me too. You were rude too. And probably so. Absolutely. She's not perfect and she'll admit that all day long. I'm sure she's hurt him too, and she'll say that. But what's missing is that she's retaliated when he shut her down. And neither side's perfect or always right. But in this situation, he literally has thousands of times not been able to hear her emotionally at all. And until this is like, okay, he can hear me emotionally. I can go to him. I can say anything and I don't get that defensive or rejection. He really is like now my friend. I feel like I have a friend and a lover. But until that happens and it's a routine thing, she's not going to calm down. Your nervous system is not going to calm down. So she's going to have these anxiety and little PTSD panic attacks. And it's a habit for both of them. Like when she'll bring something up, he'll initially start going where he used to go, and then he catches himself. So he's at least catching himself, pulling back and not lashing out at her. But that energy is still there. That feeling is still there. And he is catching himself. But he is starting to say, okay, how long didn't I already say sorry for that? Do we have to talk about this again? So he's already a little burdened by needing to continue to be humble and apologetic. So we'll see. My suggestion with that would be they need to separate. They need to take 30, 60, or 90 days apart. He needs to move out of the home. Some people say, I'll just move downstairs. And it's not a big enough sacrifice. It's not a big enough risk. When people move out, there's a risk. The risk is we may not get back together. And it's a different feel in the home. It's a different space, different energy. And yeah, there's kids there. I get it. It's a massive choice, massive impact. But if they don't take the time right now to really do the work on themselves, and he needs to do like a men's weekend, he needs to do some therapy with me and read some books, watch some videos, and realize what he's continuing to do. We just broke denial, and then he's going to go from denial to bargaining to, anger and acceptance. I mean, that's the nature of what we're dealing with here. But unless he's willing to go the distance and really come all the way through the looking glass, so to speak, this isn't going to work because her system is so wired and her body's just not going to let her. Her body's not going to lie. Her body's not going to be fake anymore. It can't be. She's been in such a controlled energy for so long. She can't keep doing it. She just can't keep doing it. And when your body breaks down, it's like you just can't keep living that lie and hurting yourself. So I will say it's going to require a huge sacrifice on his part. And he doesn't have to be perfect. Men go, well, why not her? Okay, because there's been some damage done. And he did the damage and he admits it. He knows it. He sees it. And she's not going anywhere. She's willing to work it out with him. But he needs to leave, take a break, take a breather, and do the work on himself to get rid of his hatred of his mom, anger with his mom, because he's bringing that to his wife, taking it out on his wife, and the family is impacted. So if he will make a huge sacrifice to devote himself to do that for 30, 60, 90 days, this will work. If he can't, if he won't, if you want to apologize to her father's like, dude, we got to talk. I don't want to talk to that guy. You're going the wrong direction. That's the wrong direction. Dude, if you want to make this marriage work, you kind of go back and you say, I blew it. I own it. I'm so sorry. I hurt your girl. I hurt your baby girl. Take the punch. I don't know. Take the beating, take the conversation, be confronted, look bad, be embarrassed, whatever it takes. That's the sacrifice you're going to do to show your wife you want her. And because of years of this kind of stuff, and everyone's kind of seen it, and she's just kind of been a shell of herself, right? She's coming out of that shell now. She's not going to be able to handle that anymore. And this is kind of what I'm good at, is just empowering both sides, because I want the truth to come out. That's what I want, is the truth to come out with both of them. But unless he's willing to do the hard things to have her trust him again, she's not going to trust him with her heart. I don't think there's any cheating going on. There's no drugs or anything, but there is a selfish side. And looking good. He wants to look good for sure. And so he's either going to have to fall on the sword and make amends that way, or this will not work. So I'm here for all of it. I'm here to help them both out. They'll leave with love if they leave, or they'll stay and they'll make it work. These people are honest, good people. I'm hoping I can help them make it work. But it's interesting, even when you can have a person see that they've screwed up and they're trying to right the wrong, that it isn't just like, oh, snap your fingers, it's all better now. After years of not being able to do that, she just can't, just fall back in line and just go, okay, great. All this is fixed now. It's not. And again, you can't lie to yourself. You can't live that lie and pretend. You've been lying for too long now anyway. This is why people get caught up in this, as they lie to themselves. It must be me. It must be all me. It must be not him. It's all me. No, it takes two to make a problem. But, maybe, it's been way too long that you've been blaming just one side. And maybe you got to look at the other side too. And same with him. It's always been her, not him. It's always been her fault. Well, maybe it's his fault now. So we'll get the balance in there. No matter what, they'll be okay. I'll make sure of it. If any of this sounds like something you could benefit from, you can get a hold of me at my website, healwithkimile.com. HEAL with KIMILE.com. Thank you for listening. Bye.